We've got Meta, formerly known as Facebook, which I still call them Facebook, is shutting down their VR social platform Horizon Worlds in a further pivot away from the metaverse.
Yeah, they got cooked on that, man. But for a company that large, you have to take moonshot bets.
Correct.
So you have to. They just picked the wrong one, which now they're going to do this with AI big time. They're going to be pure AI.
Yeah, and in terrible timing too. I mean, it was the hype of the moment, which is cool, but the market was not there. The demand was not there.
No, the crypto connection. Do you remember when people were buying digital real estate?
Yes.
In his metaverse game.
Yeah, there was like Sandbox was the big one, I think.
Yeah, and people were spending crazy amounts of money for these small specks of land. And I still remember the tweets like it was yesterday. They're like, this is like buying prime real estate in Manhattan in like the 1900s. It's like, okay, man.
Yeah. So in that regard, technically, there was the crypto people that had the demand for it, but I think it was just from a macro perspective, right? That was not what people were really doing. But I mean, they're taking their AR thing as well, the augmented reality thing with the glasses and whatnot. So we'll see how that all continues to shape up for them. But everyone has absolutely been clowning them. They changed their whole name to Meta right in the middle of this metaverse trend, and now they're done with it.
Yeah, it's insane to see. I think they had no other choice. They're also throwing around crazy amounts of money trying to recruit AI talent too, right? So yeah, it definitely seems like they're trying to play catch up here, and they spent a lot of time and resources. They also acquired Oculus largely because of this investment, which then made Palmer Luckey go down his path of the military defense company too. So definitely a strong butterfly effect from these decisions, and the connection to crypto is super interesting too.
For sure. So we'll bring up some memes about that whole situation later as well. But moving forward, we see that X might be rolling out a dislike button over the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what do you think about that?
Especially on a platform like Twitter, I think it's a really bad decision because it's already so weaponized from a negativity perspective. Like the current incentive structures reward that shit so much. And so I think that if you give people another tool to hate, and now there's some visual that creates culture around hating on people, I just think that can snowball really fast. I don't think it'll be here in a few months.
Do you think it could help with like maybe it helps with the algorithm though too?
Could. It definitely could. I don't know if a dislike button is the way to do it though. I think why not have some sort of other, maybe something that is seen when a user is scrolling but doesn't get attached to the post. It's more something in the back end that gets attributed to that post.
Right. Well, and maybe that is too how it works, because on YouTube, for instance, you never see the dislikes.
Yes.
So it could actually, well, you used to be able to see them, but now you don't. And so maybe they use it as the data point to say this person's basically engagement farming.
Yes.
Right.
Which I think anything to eliminate that is net positive. And I also saw the same guy who's their product manager saying that the incentive structures will soon get switched so that doing that crap gets penalized. And I saw someone crying about, I guess not crying, but like complaining because their income was impacted. And then the guy replied back saying, "Oh, well, you got your monetization shut down on this one account. Why not try the other 4 that you've been engagement farming with?" Dang,
that's funny. Yeah, Nikita Beer has it's very interesting. Like he's coming out and he's roasting people. He's participating in the community. He is one of us, as they would say on X. So here's that tweet that he said. Nikita Beer is the head of product over at X, and he said the financial incentive to spam on X will decline enormously over the next 30 days and soon be negative. So you're going to lose money.
Which I think they have to do something like that.
Yeah. So fascinating place to see X at. Moving forward, we have an announcement coming out of the Sam Altman ecosystem, and specifically here with his WorldCoin project. So Sam Altman's World, I guess they're called now, has launched AgentKit, which is a developer toolkit that allows AI agents to cryptographically prove that they are acting on behalf of real people. So I didn't get to look super deep into this, but they're basically teaming up with Coinbase. And the reason that they're doing this is because Coinbase has this stablecoin standard called X402. And the X402 protocol is essentially being used for stablecoin micropayments. And this agent kit solution is aiming to make AI agents verifiable economic participants rather than suspicious automated traffic. And so the reason that this matters is because, for instance, with the Molt book situation, where it's like the Reddit for these bots, over there, people are trying to figure out, well, are these actually bots that are coming up with all of this, or are these bots being directed by someone, or is this actual autonomous activity?
Mm-hmm.
And so in the world of payments, that's going to be pretty important to figure out, right? If, for instance, also just from a permissions perspective, because this was the other thing that people were afraid of, is Moltbook having the permission to explain the details of someone's back end of their website, or like giving information out that the user isn't aware that they're giving out, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm understanding about this agent kit, just off of the first read, is that they're trying to make sure that if money is being sent around, that there's an actual person that has verified and authorized that to occur on a different platform or whatever. So anyways.
Yeah, they've got to have stuff like that sorted out. Otherwise, it could be devastating incredibly quickly. And it certainly seems like a lot of people are really pushing to get more consumer-friendly agentic options out there. So not only do the tools need to be built for the consumers, but also like the protection for the consumers against themselves too, right?
Right. 100%.
That's super interesting. I think that will be one of the biggest stories over the next 2 to 3 years, is the development of the agentic economy.
Yes. All the CEOs are also talking about it now. This agentic commerce, right, is the big trend and opportunity that is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
In the crypto space, Algorand apparently has made the difficult decision to reduce their workforce by 25%. So we're seeing layoffs across the board, even in this space. They're being super transparent about why they're doing this, which is also very important. They basically said that it has to do with the market conditions, right? Due to the uncertain global macro environment, as well as the broader downturn in crypto markets, Algorand Foundation, which is a pretty large crypto blockchain project, is laying off 25% of their workforce. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of crypto projects cut back or consolidating, like being sold to different teams. And so there's a lot of that going on. And I don't necessarily think it's purely bearish, right? Because if people have lost their passion for something, then handing it off to someone who may be more equipped or have more energy and enthusiasm for it, it's not necessarily always a bad thing. But anyone losing their job obviously sucks.
No doubt. Moving forward, we have the SEC apparently approving NASDAQ's plan to introduce tokenized trading for certain securities. So this move is going to allow participants to opt to have their trades in Russell 1000 stocks, as well as ETFs tracking the S&P and the NASDAQ, settled as tokenized securities rather than through traditional methods. Tokenized shares will trade alongside standard shares on the same order books with identical tickers, prices, and investor rights. The depository trust company will remain involved in clearing and settlement as part of this new initiative. Holy moly, guys. People are saying that we're essentially on track to actually have tokenized securities being a real thing by Q3 of this year. So crazy move there.
Dang. And so where does your head go initially with that?
Well, just that the headlines here that we've been hearing about that is not just headlines. It seems that we're moving forward towards making this happen. There's one other piece to this news as well that I'll add, which is it's relevant, which is that the CBOE, which is the options exchange, has filed a proposal with the SEC to launch 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, U.S. equities trading. So not tokenized trading, but 24/5 trading, which will obviously eventually end up being tokenized, if not off the gate. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, 24/5 tokenized trading. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the world leaders in finance have been saying out loud that everything's going to be tokenized. So none of this should really be surprising.
Yeah, Paul Atkins recently, the head of the SEC, actually also just doubled down on that recently. He says that things he's already had a statement that was circulating around how he said this will happen in less than 2 years. And now he's continuing to say, yeah, this is happening. Most security transactions will be settled in tokenized formats and soon.
Crazy.
So, and that's the guy himself, right, of the SEC. So I think he would know. Moving forward, we've got some more updates, guys. Things are getting crazy, and it's not slowing down. We've talked a little bit about this during the pod with Andy, but I didn't mean to show this fully, but apparently there was a journalist that was in southern Lebanon, and he was attacked, essentially, apparently targeted by a government. I don't know exactly the details of this, but this happened just a few hours ago where they basically were pretty sure that they were targeted and that this wasn't just some accident thing. And you could kind of see that he was in the middle of like he wasn't around any structures, right? And that projectile hit right behind him. So that's wild. But I just wanted to point that out because that happened this morning. I don't have a whole lot of news on that. Just wanted people to see that occurred.
And so who shared that?
That was shared by some random, it was Bricks Info, but it's making the rounds. Like this is something that just happened.
Got it.
Yeah. So then we have the situation that has happened over the past 48 hours now, which was that the South Pars, let me go ahead and just pull this up on the map. South Pars is the Pars oil field, period. It's a gas field, rather, is the largest gas field in the world. And essentially there's like this oil field that Iran and Qatar share with one another. We talked a little bit about this during the pod. And what happened over the past 48-ish hours was that it was struck. Iran's side of it was struck. This is a big deal because let me read out what Mario Nafal said, right? South Pars, the south side of this, accounts for 75% of Iran's gas production and gas fuels 85% of Iran's electricity grid, right? So that's not just hitting a military target, right? That's hitting a massive piece of civilian infrastructure that keeps the lights on for millions of Iranians, he says. And so what did they do? Iran, in response, hit Qatar's side of this gas field. Okay. And now you've got a huge situation coming up where Iran didn't know exactly who did it, but they just said, well, if y'all going to do this, we're going to hit over there. And so during that time, Iran also issued a warning. They said, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, evacuate your energy facilities following these strikes on this facility, on our facility, because we're going to retaliate. Mm-hmm. And so then they did. Qatar was hit in retaliation. The world's most sophisticated gas processing plant took 14 years to build, has been hit. And Qatar is responsible for about 20% of the world's liquefied natural gas. And they put out a statement saying that, so look here, Iran attacks, wipes out 17% of Qatar's LNG capacity for up to 5 years.
Wow.
The CEO of Qatar Energy says. So just something to keep in mind. I saw this graphic that looks like it's from a Bloomberg terminal. I did my best to try to verify. Relatively, this is for sure what I've seen. How much of Qatar's liquefied natural gas exports goes to Asia? It's a lot of it going to Asia. China being the number one, India, Pakistan, South Korea, Kuwait, Italy are some of the main beneficiaries of Qatar's liquefied natural gas. And then so everyone was trying to figure out, okay, well, who did this, right? So Donald Trump put out a post. He said, Israel, out of anger for what is taking place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The U.S. knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar has in no way, shape, or form involved with it. And the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. He He said, no more attacks will be made by Israel in all caps pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States, with or without the help of consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entire of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran and the world. Let's be clear, but whatever. But if Qatar's LNG is attacked again, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to the matter. Now, that came out last night at 9 p.m. Central Time, so 10 Eastern. Basically saying this is all Israel's fault. We had nothing to do with this. And don't hit back. Like, leave them alone. Because if you don't, then we're going to take out the whole thing. We're just going to blow up the whole thing. So that was wild. And then we got even more information that apparently Israel is saying, well, y'all knew what we were doing. So this headline has definitely changed since I first had it. But so now they're saying basically Trump says that he told Netanyahu not to repeat Iranian gas field attacks, but really, so he's claiming no prior knowledge of the attack, but the Israeli officials are saying that the strike was coordinated with the U.S., despite his denial. So anyways, just wanted to let you guys know that's what's happening. There's a couple of other things to take into account here, because as this continues to escalate, essentially the problem here is that you're having attacks on civilian infrastructure. These are not military targets. These are people's gas. These are people's potentially water that is at stake and that is getting hit. And so one of these attacks that have happened throughout all of this time has been near a nuclear site in Iran, or whatever, some nuclear facility. And the scare here is that if they were to actually hit that thing, so maybe they did this almost as like saying, hey, we will basically mess up this entire region. Because if they were to actually hit that facility, there'd be a chance that all of that nuclear waste would end up in the water system over there. And if it ended up in the water, then basically no one would have water, because all of their water is coming from that water there in the sea. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so that would pretty much be absolutely devastating for the hundreds of millions of people that live in the region.
Yeah, it's these are like all of it's just news headlines to us, and it impacts our dollars and cents, but it's also like so many people's lives, which is the craziest part.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, once again, I think the reason I'm so adamant about trying to say, like, guys, this is happening is for two reasons. One, Iran is a country of 90 million people, and their entire existence is at stake, and they are of a faith where they're willing to do anything until their death. And that's just the people that are in Iran, right? You've also got people all over the world that are Iranian. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you start to threaten their existence, the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to threaten yours.
Yeah, it's life or death. Like, think about what people have done in those situations, right? Like, nothing is off the table at that point. So like 100%. All logic and reason goes out the window, right? Because what does that mean in a point where you're dying?
100%. So that's piece number one of the equation. Piece number two of the equation is that I know people are so used to things not affecting them.
Yes. Like you said in your stream last night about COVID.
On Saturday.
Sorry, Saturday. It was. Whenever it was. That, and I know this personally because I had my birthday party, and it was the last night before everything shut down. It was the last night that everyone was out.
Wow.
And then literally the next day, everything shut down. We had heard rumblings about this for months, right? And then everyone just said, no, it's BS. And then our entire lives got flipped upside down.
100%. And in the West, that was the only time, honestly, that we've ever had what's happening in the world actually come back to us.
That's a great point, because if you're immune to something, they're just stories, they're headlines. A lot like Charles talked about, it's difficult to have like empathy or sympathy for something that you can't see, touch, or truly understand, because it's just a story at that point, like anything else. But it's also hard to blame people for not reacting a lot, because there's stuff like this. All like this was obviously solidified. This is real. But if you go on social media for like 10 minutes, you're going to see 5 other things that are going to end the world too. So it's difficult to know what is significant, what isn't. And I'm sure a lot of people, if they're not in the weeds like you are, Keith, they just, oh, it's another clickbait headline, and they move forward.
100%. And that's another problem we have. It's like all of the boy who cried wolf that's happening all the time on the internet.
Totally.
All caps this, all caps that. We were talking about back when it happened, like Russian minister said some crazy headline. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but basically it was just like someone who was in the cabinet, just like how our senators run their mouths in the US. Like no one cares what he's saying. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like this headline like Russia's about to nuke somebody or some crazy stuff like that. But anyway, so we have that problem as well. So I can't read this article for you, but Asia's fuel crunch forces 4-day weeks, school closures, and you see gas lines starting to heat up in places like Vietnam. They're urging people to work from home amid this fuel supply and price crunch in the Mideast. So just in general, it's already, as we just got started here, right, starting to cause issues in other parts of the world. And this is something that is going to hit everyone. Right?
What are the gas prices like currently where you are? Have you guys been impacted?
I haven't actually properly looked, and I haven't filled up that recently.
Got it.
But I imagine it's moving upward.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty sharp increases in Canada, and people are already making a lot of posts about it. And that's like the scariest part about all this stuff, is because like why things can get bad so fast is because bad news travels incredibly fast, especially through the tool of social media. Because if someone sees something that is bad, the incentive structure is they know they'll get attention for being the person to share it.
Facts.
And then now, oh, wow, that guy got this many views and likes for saying the cost of gas. Like, I'm going to milk this joke for my own attention too.
Crazy, man. We see Sharp 24/7 Academy said gas is up 30% here. Lorenzo Ward, gas is $3.90 in Utah. And it was $2.70 2 weeks ago. Right, so that's almost like a 50% increase.
And that's where people start getting involved, right? Who typically don't touch this stuff, is that when they go to the pump and it's so much higher, they now start asking questions and start paying attention to things. And that's when stuff can snowball very fast.
Yeah, man. So anyways, guys, just, yeah, for me, that's water, food, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, much like Andy said, it's everything.
Yep. So, just, be prepared to the degree that you can. And then so, on the financial side of things, the UAE Central Bank puts out a support package and lifts in that it basically some of their stocks started to rise because they basically started printing money. So it's $1 billion package that they've put out. In the U.S., the Pentagon is seeking $200 billion in budget requests for the Iran war. So that money pretty much would need to be printed to keep up with the spending that they're doing there. And we also learned that potentially the United States Treasury is going to unsanction Iranian oil. That is a potential here. They've already unsanctioned some Russian oil that's sitting out there. They're potentially going to unsanction Iranian oil. And so, guys, like that's
crazy.
That's pretty much an admission of they screwed up. Like everything else that people are saying, like, oh, it's clear that they messed up because this and that and that. No, if they unsanction Iranian oil, either they're saying that either they're putting it out there because it's an option and they want them to know that this is something that they could do to help de-escalate.
Yeah, you help me a little bit, I'll help you.
Hopefully that's what it is, because otherwise they're literally just saying, yeah, we have we're just going to fund the people that we're fighting against, right? We have to lift the sanctions to ease oil prices at home. But I don't know. So hopefully that's all it is that hopefully. What I'm afraid of is that there actually is not a plan, and that this has actually just been a complete, utter, unthought through war that's been started. I don't want to believe that, because there's so much money that's being spent on these people's salaries, and they've had plenty of time to try to think through and come up with some scenarios. But man, there is a chance here that there's really actually not a plan, and that to me would be the worst case scenario. So that's why I say, hopefully, what's happening there is they're trying to give Iran a way to say like, hey, this is something we can do to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always hard to tell. So your guess is as good as mine.
For sure. So I was seeing, I saw this video of this guy who was like an old school, like, it actually wasn't about him. It wasn't from him himself. It was a guy talking about an old general who was responsible for doing a war game. And this was like in the 90s or something. And basically what happened was he played a scenario kind of like a Middle Eastern kind of scenario where it's a big country in the Middle East and it was a war game from the Department of Defense. Everyone's coming together. There was like hundreds of millions of dollars. This is something that's public. I just don't know the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were running this war scenario. And this general was like, he was playing the role of basically Iran. And he was saying he did some tactics that basically they couldn't respond to it and they lost. But because of that, they just restarted the game and also fired the guy because he won. And they wanted to silence his opinion. So I'll have to find the full story and bring that to you guys at some point. But I thought that was fascinating, and I wouldn't be surprised by it either, because what they were basically saying was that the reason that they had to fire him is because if he was right and if that was actually how things went down, then all of the money that the U.S. government had been spending would need to get cut. Like it basically proved that all that money that they were spending was worthless. So, anyways, somebody hopefully out there knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, bring that back when you find it.
Yeah. Moving forward, there's some things that I got to get your reaction to, Ben.
Sure.
Polymarket just announced that they are launching the Situation Room in Washington, D.C., the world's first bar dedicated to monitoring the situation. Ben, what do you think of this?
Bro, so they're like, oh my God, it's so dystopian, man. So instead of, I guess, a sports bar has already basically become that now at this point with the access to gambling. I guess that's not too dissimilar. This is like the sports bar for people who aren't into sports.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like the geopolitical interested person will go in there instead of watching the game. They'll go do that.
Right.
Is that real? Like that's confirmed?
It's real. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
No, I went on to see there were some other reports of it.
Some people will be all over that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, that graphic, for instance, it just made it look terrible to me. First off, there's nowhere to sit in there. Like, don't do it like that. And like the problem that I would have with this is that, like, the reason I think it won't actually work, or it wouldn't work for me, like, I don't want to be there, is because it's a bar, and that aspect of it, I think it takes away from what you're actually potentially trying to do. Like what I would try to make the experience is less like a bar, but more like if I wanted to work on Wall Street, but I just never had the experience, like I'd want to have that experience. Like people who are serious.
Yeah. That's where my head went right away. But then, you throw in the alcohol.
Yeah, like, dude, come on, bro. Like, I don't want to be there, bro.
No, that'll be a shit show. Yeah. That's
gonna be some degeneracy.
Genuinely insane.
So yeah. But we'll see what happens for him. Good luck with that one. Let's see. What else I got for you is Jim Cramer. That guy, he cannot stop running his mouth. So he made another post the other day. And at this point, like, something's got to be up, right? So he says very oversold this morning, actually, at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, right before the market opens too. Just saw that. Just not thought about that. 9:24 a.m. Eastern. He says very oversold. It's just like, bro, this dude said delete this. So this is kind of meme-ish, but it's also something I wanted to get a reaction to, Ben, because like my thing is, so obviously every time Jim Cramer says something, the opposite is what's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. But like at this point, is he an agent? Is he being paid to do this? I mean, he is being paid to do it, technically, by someone. But the question, I guess, is like who and why? Or what do you think of this kind of stuff right here?
It's so hard to tell because he does it so frequently, and he's pretty consistently wrong, but occasionally they'll be right, and then yeah, there's definitely some connection to higher powers there. I would certainly assume, but anyone's guessing. I think especially he's guessing. He may have stuff that we're not privy to, and maybe he's doing this on purpose, but I honestly don't have much to contribute beyond that. Where does your head go?
I mean, but the thing is like he's actually wrong most of the time.
Yeah, it's from what I've seen of his stuff, it seems like 85% plus is like wrong.
To the extent to where the inverse Kramer ETFs have outperformed Nancy Pelosi.
Wow.
In 2025. So, it's just like it's almost like it's an actual signal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, hey, to everyone who's in on it, or like to anyone who knows who gets the game, I'm actually saying the exact opposite of what I'm saying right here. And this is like the way to publicly tell everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally. It'll be interesting to see how, like, if he starts to be right. Do you know what I mean on things?
Moving on.
Would you say that things are oversold?
No. That's a good question, because I didn't even ask myself, but no.
No, it seems like you would be kind of viewing things the opposite if things go the way that you think they can with the world.
Exactly. It's like no one is sold yet at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been none of that. Like, look what happened when there was the lockdowns, right? And how quickly was crazy. I remember a lot of my friends being like, should I buy stocks now? And I'm like, you think I have any better idea than you do? Like, are you kidding me? And then it rebounded because of intervention. So it's like, would they do that again if they had to? Probably. But how much did they let it drop, and did they want that to happen? Right? How I see it being is it would maybe be a natural floor creation thing, right? Where it's like, okay, like a lot of people think that they're trying to induce a manufactured recession from somewhere.
I mean, at this point, I don't know what else is trying to be accomplished other than just blowing up everything that the world runs on. You know what I mean? I mean,
it definitely seems silly.
Yeah. So anyways, moving on, we had that quick piece about how Meta shut down their Metaverse program. And so this video has been circulating of this old video that they put out. And this one was really funny. He said, just two humans having a perfectly natural conversation.
And keep creating. Now, Deb from our studios team is joining me. Deb, do you want to take us through some of the exciting games in the pipeline for Quest?
Absolutely. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to work with incredible developers like Vertigo Games, the studio behind fan favorite Arizona Sunshine.
I love Arizona Sunshine. That game basically got me and my friends through the first few months of the pandemic.
That's awesome. If you enjoy...
They know what they're doing here, man. I think they know how Twitter works, and they're doing this for the reshares that are free.
But this was old, though. This was old.
How old is this?
So this is actually literally from 2021.
Oh, wow.
Right? So
not then.
So before then, I don't know if somebody said, "Oh, I watched this video the other day." It was like Mark Zuckerberg. They're like, "Wow, the update that they did on this was really good." Like, because like they're saying like they updated his software, and he's like not a robot anymore.
Yeah,
but
yeah, in the chat, everyone's saying cringe. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. But 2021, I would not have guessed it was that long ago.
And so this dude said they pulled off the impossible. Made a real human video look like it's 100% AI generated.
It does feel like that. Have you seen the clip on Theo Vaughn's podcast when he had Zuckerberg on there? And he's like, do you drink coffee? Did you see what
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
That's mad funny, bro.
Zuck's a strange cat, man. But yeah, no, that was very, very difficult to watch.
So moving forward, there was another piece on the culture side of things that I wanted to definitely bring up. Oh, this guy was making the excuse or trying to talk about why the Benjamin Netanyahu videos might have been going around about him being like AI or not. And so this guy was kind of justifying it. And we heard from him earlier this week too. Let's hear what he had to say about this. He said, they're doing some weird stuff. This is Mr. Red Pill's joke army.
They're doing something much bigger than just dropping AI videos. I just found out why they're doing all the AI slop. After I tell you this, keep your eyes on me. And I'm serious, someone's not gonna be happy about this. This is not about where BB is or where he not is. It's not about that at all. There is something more massive than we have ever seen coming. So today I'm sure you saw the new video where the ring disappears off the finger. I can barely show it because they copyrighted the last video on Facebook. Also missed another security defense meeting, which he's always at, and his son, 7 days, have not tweeted once. But what if I told you that they're dropping these videos on purpose, knowingly posting these videos, knowing that it's not going to just sneak by the human populace? They're posting it as they're perfecting their AI videos, so in the future, something can happen. Let me explain. AI photos and AI videos have little micro brandings, little microscopic brandings on pixels that human eyes cannot see, right? So by putting these up every single day, they're able to really enhance, tweak, and get it perfect to the point where no person could ever tell that it was AI. They are using the human populace to help them experiment on these videos. Every single person thinks they're cracking some code and all this stuff, but that's exactly what they want because they're working on making a flawless machine. That way something huge can happen right in front of us and there'll be no denying it's real, right? They are actively removing the microscopic branding off these pixels. This is no joke. Oh, and a quick word from BB. I'm alive! Yes, obviously that was AI, and that's why I have the AI label on the video, because again, us creators have to label things as AI if they are. Otherwise, we get in trouble. And like I said yesterday, this only applies to creators and not governments. Something massive is coming. Don't believe your eyes. Spread the word.
What'd you think of that, Ben?
It's possible, but I feel like they've already got a perfect one accessible.
But they would still have to. But they would still have to know what we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd still want to know. Yeah, like at what, or not even. They wouldn't have to know like what we're looking for, but like at what level are we going to be able to catch it, or what are the things that we're going to do to try, right, to verify as well, like those little AI tools. Because now, what can they do? They can go to those AI tools and like fix it to make whatever they put out work for that thing. Because also they don't develop that thing.
No. Yeah, it's possible, maybe. I just don't think they would need us to do that.
There is a mass psychology. Like you do need to to really pull something off, you do have to figure out how people are going to react. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that part of it could make sense. You might not need us to perfect the thing, right? Like he was saying, but you might need to see how we react.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like what we actually do when we think that that's the case or not. How would we try to verify it or not? Because even if it's perfect, right, that doesn't mean that we're going to believe it.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's the point we're getting to, where people don't believe anything.
Facts, exactly.
It sucks, and I'm in that camp too, right? Because and that's obviously by design too, because like now they show us things that apparently have been going on for a very long time, and right at the time when everything is now questioned.
Facts. So everyone's been talking about like the U.S. government just like registered aliens.gov.
Yeah,
that's another big thing that's going on right now.
Something that's spread around Twitter. Yeah, definitely fact check that yourself to confirm. But I saw that could. Do you think that's relating more to like extraterrestrial aliens or aliens in like immigration things?
There you go. Who knows, right? That's a good point. So White House registered aliens.gov from the New York Post. But that's a good question. That's a good point. It could easily just be about that.
The aliens and UFOs will be part of the discussion here in the not too distant future.
Well, because then there was also that Obama thing where he came out and basically said it.
They plant seeds, man.
And then Trump said, he might get in trouble for that, but I won't let him get in too much trouble because he was leaking secrets, kind of thing, which was wild. So
they're all in on it, but they also know that they're there to speak to different people within the populace, right? So they do different things at different times to hit people when they're primed for a message. Mm-hmm. And so I think that UFOs, aliens, probably a topic of discussion here within the next month or two, maybe a little longer. I'd say 6 to 12. And then my extensive research into that field will serve the show well. Because when that starts to happen, I know the people to have on and I can speak their language a bit too. So, and You could go both ways with that. You could say, okay, are they giving us AI because they don't want to believe that it's real, or do they want to get to a point where they can use it as a tool to convince us that it's real, right? It could go either way.
Yeah, I definitely could see it tying into the war thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Easily. Some crazy interception from that was like about to destroy everything.
Yeah, actually, there was this clip that went around recently that was one of the ones from inside, and something was shot at it, and it just like kept going right through, no problem. So yeah, you're probably right.
Next piece, this one hits home, Ben. You've got Pierre.
It just went live pretty recently.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
talk about this. What's going on here, Ben?
It's Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the opposition party in Canada, now goes on Joe Rogan, which is like the most obvious thing in the world to do if you're a politician, right? Because everywhere else that you're going to create content, it's always going to be clipped for the headline that makes the most sense for the audience the publication is trying to speak to, right? That's why if you go to a left-wing outlet, a clip will be cut a certain way. If you go to a right-wing outlet, it'll be cut a certain way. And so I personally think it was crazy that he didn't go on there when the election was actually taking place. And so for him to go on there now just leaves me scratching my head thinking like, okay, I don't even know how to interpret this, because unless his media team is like so unbelievably incompetent to say don't go on, there's got to be some intermingling of people being involved and some planning. Because from an outsider's perspective who doesn't really understand media, the narrative they said for why he didn't go on would make sense, right? They said it's too controversial, he's too tied to Trump, it would be too much negative backlash.
And is this guy a liberal?
He's he's right. We would call it conservative, but your guys Republicans.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I just think that that's too high a degree of ignorance to be the reality. And so it seems manufactured to me, because if you're saying it's too risky and you're saying you got too much backlash and there's too much against you, that's the only antidote. And anybody with like an ounce of social media savvy would understand that a long form content piece is the only way for people to get to know the actual individual. But even more importantly than that, what would have won him likely the election is not the conversation, it's the clips that would have come from the conversation.
So but you're saying, your point is that he should have been on during the actual election.
Totally. He was offered to. And then apparently Joe said that his team declined, saying it was too controversial and risky.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which is unbelievably ridiculous. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So you either are so bad at your job, who's made that decision, or someone's paying you to do that. Like, there's no other way that gets done. There's no chance. Because if you just go look at the numbers, like, you don't have to go far back. Trump basically used it to win the election. Like, the podcasting circuit for Trump was a massive reason why he won the way that he did.
Right.
So it's, so Pierre went on there, and I would venture to guess it's going to be talking about a lot of the seriously crazy things going on within Canada. And I'm noticing a lot of crazy stuff going on within Toronto near me, right? And again, I'm always so skeptical even of the things that I'm witnessing firsthand, because of how easy it would be to manufacture things when you understand the spreading mechanism of social media, right? Like, in the past 2 weeks, and this is pure anecdote, so I'm not saying this speaks for the current situation at large, but I've had a homeless man knock on the door of my gym offering to perform oral sex to me. And then I also walked past a lady just full on peeing in the middle of an incredibly busy street. And then I'm also seeing videos popping up of people doing that on public transit. And so for all these things to be happening, the guy offering that stuff, I don't think that's related, but the people peeing on the street. And then also there's a super viral video of a lady peeing on the TTC. And then, man, why I'm so skeptical about this is because my mind goes to social media message spreading as like the marketer that I am, right? And I've explained this concept to you guys last episode, where really the benefit of social media from a marketing perspective is that everybody is in buckets, right? And so you know the heroes and villains of everyone's story. And in this video where this lady is peeing on the train, it's like perfectly scripted. So the person who's filming it is like taking the internal monologue of the person who's on the right side here in Canada, who's like, immigrants are our problem, this is a massive issue, whatever. And then on the left side, there's like a counterparty saying like, you shouldn't be filming her, like perfectly playing the internal monologue of the left. So the comments infighting between the right and the left people were given exactly what they needed for that to go mega viral, like mega viral. It was like, the second I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be everywhere, because I knew the conversations would go crazy. And then he goes on here 2 days later.
Interesting, man.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like, and I'm not saying I understand the desire behind the plan, but it seems too scripted. And people would say like, oh, you're crazy. There's no way you could like coordinate getting people to pee around the city. I strongly disagree with that. People are very poor here. So like, I could probably pull that off with $1,000, man. If you went to like, go ahead.
And then technically you wouldn't necessarily need to coordinate people pee, but filming them though, right? Because you could look at it that way.
If you did this in the public space with enough people, if you just, yeah, so like the filming could be coordinated, but you wouldn't even technically have to coordinate the filming. It would happen organically.
True. Because
of the incentive mechanism we talked about before, where they know, right? Because if I'm someone who wants attention on my social media, if I film that, that's going viral, and it's coming from my page.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's like go ahead.
I don't know if people are that morally bankrupt. Like, you want to see that yourself too. You know what I mean?
Keith? Are you serious?
It's not that I don't think, like, I think at scale, you would have people in certain places that would do that. Like, for instance, in New York City, that would happen. In Toronto, I guess that would happen.
Thing. Yeah.
But like, outside of that, like, I'm not going to stop my day to film someone else who I don't want to see pissing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that your existence is the norm.
No, that's fair, man, for sure.
And
there's young people too. And
totally, it's right, because attention of any kind, people would see as a plus, right? And why I'm so skeptical about when I saw it, I walked past a lady doing the exact same thing, and it was like 20 paces away from a public restroom. Almost for like shock value. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like, even thinking through, okay, they're doing this right here. Like, that's the next thing. Like, I can even read the comments, right? I can picture it in my mind. They'd be like, the bathroom's right there. I can't believe they don't use it. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like it's scripted to create some divide within our country. And it's, yeah. And Dave said, Keith, poverty spurs the craziest stuff. Yeah. And that's the place that people are getting to in this country, man, is that people are very desperate. And the last domino to fall before things get so crazy is because everyone has the current belief systems that they do in this country, because it's been pretty good to live here for the last 40 or 50 years. And there's a lot of people who control almost all the power that are so immune to the actual impacts of the economy because their wealth is wrapped up in these fake inflated assets. If that domino falls too, things get bad. And if there were true market forces, it definitely would. Which is why I think that as Carney's getting more and more close with China, I think it's got to be about that. It's to open up the Chinese consumer to the Canadian market to maintain the floor that would not set things into true anarchy. So I don't know. It's just super weird.
Fair enough, man. You're in it. You're seeing it.
It's so strange. I've lived here for 5 years, and yes, people have gotten more and more poor, but I've never seen that in that long. And also, I think it's extra weird that it's women in particular, because women is more of a spectacle, right? Like, people will like that'll get people more going, because guys shouldn't pee in public, but guys do it a lot more frequently. Do you know what I mean? So there's extra layered upon shock value. So yeah, it's a very, very strange dynamic. And it seems like there's a lot of games going on, and people would say like, okay, that's so conspiracy. Like, who would plan to do this? I want you guys to go watch Mad Men. And there's this one scene where they faked a fight over a ham as like a marketing stunt, right? That kind of shit happens all the time.
Real stuff, man.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. And so all of this to say is that, like, don't believe what you see. And if you've watched something and it gets you like super emotionally charged from your phone, someone is doing this. Like, someone's making money from this. They want you. They want to hijack your emotional state, and they want us to fight each other. Right?
Like, man.
Like, treat the people across from you like a person as much as you possibly can, and understand that if they're trying to convince you that someone else is your problem, they're probably the problem. that's it, man. But it's just crazy.
Banger line. All I've got from here is some memes, man.
Let's see it. Also, my starter story video went live while we were on the call.
Wow. All right. Well, starter story from Ben, guys. We will have to all peep that.
I haven't watched it yet, so
that's so cool. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. So starter story, they do, oh wow, look at him. They do starter stories. They talk about the stories of founders and their projects and how they did them and whatnot. So Ben has now been featured on this page. This is a very popular page in the space. 46 million views, 790,000 subscribers, huge. You can see some of the top videos right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ben is on Starter Story, guys. So we'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know how I looked in it, found in it, etc. But I attempted to share some of the stuff that has made me the most amount of money, and also opened the most amount of doors for me, in terms of how YouTube functions, how to leverage that. And I really share all this stuff so people can help their individual situation, but more on a mass scale, how people can be more media literate. Because yes, it's helpful if you want to grow something, but it's also wildly helpful to know how the thing works so that it doesn't hijack how you feel.
Love it, man. Ties right in to the memes. Just a silly one of the worst feeling ever at work.
At the 4 new APIs. So what are your thoughts
Your name is called in a meeting, but you weren't listening.
on that, Tori?
Who wants to be a millionaire? The show used to slap.
Can somebody ping her and see if she's still there?
Sounds good. My connection is bad. Can you repeat that? That's actually, that's pretty solid. I think that's pretty good. I would go with that one.
Yeah, I would probably go with, can you repeat that? I want to make sure I understand. That could backfire if it's something super obvious, but
yeah, so that was pretty good.
That's so funny, man.
This one, I don't even actually get it, but it was just a funny thought to me. So he said, I updated Arch Linux and now my audio doesn't work. How do I fix it? And then this thought for 332 minutes, which is a pretty long time. And it just said, install Windows. So any tech people, let us know what that actually means and why that's, I guess, probably also a silly thing to ask ChatGPT to do.
Yeah, I don't fully get that one.
This one, can an LLM write maintainable code? The bot says, can you?
It's a fair rebuttal, I guess.
Pretty good. So they kept putting out videos of Netanyahu. People are pointing out in this one that the ventilation here is all different. Why are they all different sizes and shapes and have different slits? Is this guy alive or not? This was 2 days ago. And then I just saw this one. I just thought it was pretty funny. He said, I don't know, something's off. Let's see. This guy, he goes, $10 said, passing through the Strait of Hormuz if anyone needs anything.
that's timeless.
It's well, that's what a friend. This one right here hit home for me because I've kind of been taking this approach. This guy says, me waiting for the second order effects of higher oil prices. And this is some people waiting at a train stop here.
With snow all over it.
With snow on it. Clearly in the path. This lady really sitting here watching what's happening and just waiting for it to get there. I mean, really? Not until the very last minute do they think to take cover.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Coming from a concept point of view, there's snow on the tracks. If a train comes, it's going to do that. You think that's real?
Yeah, I do think it's real. I think people are, to give you some credit, to take some credit away from what I said earlier, I do think people are kind of that dumb. And when it comes to trying to get social media content, I think they'll risk their life to do it. I just don't know if they'll.
I have also noticed that as I walk around the world, people's problem solving skills, even just in the natural space, is so bad, dude. Mm-hmm. I oftentimes it's hard to I always think through when I leave my house, I'm gonna have to go be around that environment, and so many people have their heads so far up their ass. It's just like hard to get through the day, man, because a lot of it has to do with the phone, but it's insane.
No, man, hundo P understood with that one, man. Yeah, it's always interesting, man. I notice it when it's also certain types of places that you might go that you'll notice the dial kind of turning up on like people's awareness and whatnot.
More or less aware?
More or less, in either direction. Okay. Either direction. I see it on the road.
The road is terrifying.
You'll notice different levels of like, are people driving or are they on their phone?
And it's dangerous, the amount of people that are on their phone. And this is a take from, I think it was one of the Barstool podcasts, where they said that they think that in the not too distant future, looking back on driving a car will be seen as like insane that we did that. Like, damn, they were risk takers.
Facts.
Well, to think that, especially as more and more people get desperate and there's more and more chaos, it's like you're banking on them not doing something crazy or all that stuff. So yeah, driving definitely concerns me quite a bit, and just in general. So yeah, definitely don't text and drive. It's crazy how fast these things are moving. It's easy to get numb to how truly fast you're moving.
Yes. Most certainly in a car, dude, like 40 miles an hour. And then you also, what we really don't think about, because physics, our minds aren't built for this, is when something's also heading at you at that speed. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh, done. Yeah.
Like you're done. So
yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's not worth it. The text can wait. Yeah.
But only other piece is talking about the previous episode, some community. We had some funny comments from people. We talked about Welcome to World War III, the propaganda war. Shout out to all you guys who tuned in and who came back to leave us some comments as well. We always appreciate that. Brandon said, these get better and better every time I watch. We appreciate you, Brandon.
Super kind. We appreciate it.
Yep. And then Real Conversations, we need more people like y'all out there, said 226.
We need more people like you, man. Or woman.
Or woman. Pull up. One of my favorite podcasts now says the QAZ 1828. You've been with us for a second, so what took so long? No. My favorite part was when you guys talked about the whole Jasara, not because I learned anything new, but because it's nice to hear for once a view on it other than 0% totally fake or 100% you're an idiot if you don't think it won't completely happen. Well, that's pretty much the thesis of the whole show, is trying to keep an open mind to different perspectives. I also saw someone say in the chat, like, getting the compliments from Andy was such a big compliment. And I totally agree. And I actually do really appreciate his words in the compliments that he gave us here, especially on something that we actually value like that, you know?
No, totally. Yeah. And I think that why we resonated with what he said is that we try to share the same sort of message of like, assume you know nothing, right? Be curious endlessly. One of the main mantras of the show is to stay curious. And so I think he definitely embodies that.
Yep. And then, happy birthday to Ben. Yeah. Happy belated, man. Sanko said Billy Carson would be good on your show. That would actually be a really good one. Are you familiar with Billy Carson?
Yeah, I am. He was on top of the world for a little bit. And then this guy who is incredibly well versed within religious literature kind of like really took his thunder away.
Interesting.
From an impromptu debate that was done on, I believe, some sort of live stream. And yeah.
Is it Wesley Huff?
Yes, that sounds right. He's blown up after that. Like that really propelled Wesley into mainstream awareness because he's very, very well versed on religious literature.
Fascinating.
With the things with people that say things like Billy, like he talks with absolutes, right? Like he's constantly, he doesn't say like this could be this way. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with just trying to get through a point. And we do that sometimes too, where we're saying things that sound like we know it for sure, but we don't know anything for sure. But he really got huge by that level of conviction that he spoke with these things in, right? It wasn't like, oh, this maybe happened. He's like, this happened. And so then Wesley basically got him slipping on a few things and got him like wrong, and then pulled up the receipts, and that people, and then you know how how evil the internet is, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like people dunked on Billy hard. So I'm sure eventually people will forget, but highly entertaining at the very least, Billy's content.
Wow. Yeah. And yeah, so that interview there, that debate had 4.4 million views, which is pretty wild to think about. I guess full unedited, unaltered.
Yeah,
debate.
I think that's the original source of this. That's really what snowballed it. And then it got messy between all parties involved after the fact.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Billy was like cooking, man. Like he was on the major podcast that he could possibly go on. I think he even got on Rogan. So he was like on top of the world. And he's talking about stuff, for anyone who doesn't know, I should provide context earlier. So he basically talks a lot about ancient literature, myths, etc. But he talks he talks a lot about myths as if they're fact.
Right.
And so that's partially where people got on him. And then when he recalled things incorrectly based on what the book said, and Wes had the books right there, and then it got people started dunking on him.
I also see here people were absolutely ragging on the moderator. The most liked comment, it looks like, was, "Use me as if this moderator was insufferable on a level we can't begin to comprehend" button. 42,000 likes.
Yeah.
So I love the moderators, but I'm sure he's leveled up since that one.
Man, I don't know how you fix it, because part of it's just human nature, but on all these platforms, there's just so much incentive to like shit on people or dunk on them. Or like, even I tweeted today, or I tweeted yesterday. Right before the show, actually, I just tweeted, "Twitter's biggest problem is everyone thinks they are smart, and very few people actually are. There are a few things as loud as an insecure intellectual. People don't come here to learn; they come here to feel smart. Repeating a currently held belief is one of the easiest ways to do that. Save your sanity, don't engage." And then a guy tweeted back at me. He's like, "Yeah, that's you, bro." I'm like, okay, man. I'm not claiming I'm smart. I genuinely don't think I'm smart. I just know I'm endlessly curious. Right? And I think that's like, I've said this in the past. Like, my whole mantra for a very long time, and this has rubbed people the wrong way, is that I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I don't think anyone's better than me. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So I truly think that a lot of it does come down to work, and I don't think I'm smarter than anyone. I think that if they had to consume the same information that I did, they'd probably come to better conclusions than I did.
Right. Very interesting, man. Yeah, people are.
Stormy says, "How do you combat mass cynicism?" You understand, in my opinion, the source in which it came from. There's nobody who is happy, who's putting a dent in the world, that takes the time to do that. Like Keith, right? How he couldn't even conceive that someone would film someone in a vulnerable state, like taking a pee on the TTC, because in his world that would never be a reality, right? And I think that Keith should be a role model for a lot of people. That's also why I'm excited for this show to grow, so that people can like see that in you a lot, because that shit matters, man. Because you impact the people in your immediate vicinity, and also sometimes it's a lack of education too, right? Where sometimes you have to plant the seed. And this is something I've done a lot in my life, where I'll be like, "Yo, what you just did there, you may not know this, but that was really mean." Right? And I'll try to do it like after the fact. A lot of people will just try to avoid the conflict, because almost every time I was made the asshole for saying that. Right. So, but I don't care, because I've been the person who was being made fun of or like getting bullied. And so I'm like, I never want to feel like that again. I don't think anyone should feel like that. So I'll pay the social cost of doing that. And if more people did that, I think we'd all just be less pricks.
Love it, man. Yeah. That's definitely something for me. I've always tried to, not always tried to, but I've definitely, as I've gotten older, tried to get better at. And being around you more has already allowed me to see it in my life, of where there's moments to just even also stick up for myself a little bit better, but also to like, just to lean into the understanding, the opportunity for there to be a little bit of friction, but for that to help someone too, you know?
So most problems are created because an uncomfortable situation was avoided. Right? So people are like, in my life will say, "Oh, Ben, you're very confrontational." I would challenge that greatly, because I just know that I either take the confrontation now at this current standing, or I let it go and it gets so much bigger where there's no chance that we have a relationship. Always, like, there's no such thing as like water under the bridge. Like, of course, when you get to that place and you have the satisfaction or like the conclusion, you get to it. But when you just let it go and you're like, "Oh, I'll look past it," you build resentment.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I think it's better to be open and honest about how you feel. So that way, because a lot of people think someone's an asshole, but they've never communicated that they make them feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of my friends, like they shit on each other so much. And then I'll be like, guys, like it's fun to have like playful banter, but I think the line should get drawn on things like you can't change. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I got like for example, like I'm heavier than I normally am. If a buddy were to say, "Oh, Ben, you put on some weight," I'd be like, "That's totally fair." Do you know what I'm saying? But if they were to be like, I don't know, like I hate you because you're white or whatever, then I'd be like, okay, then now we're no longer friends. But like people do that shit all the time.
Yeah. That's a good one for sure too, to think about line crossing. It's like anything that people can't change for sure.
Also, people, just because it's been done a lot and they're laughing too, doesn't mean it's okay. What other choice did you give them? Right? If you don't laugh, you cry. So eventually, if you still want to be around these people and they're talking shit, then you're going to be like, okay, I guess this is my identity now. And anything you could possibly say about someone negatively, they already know. Right? Like
Maybe.
For the most part, they may be projecting, like trying to push it away, but the short guy knows he's short. The fat person knows they're fat. Right? Like deep down, they know.
Okay, the things that can't be changed. Yes.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
No. The things that can be changed, I think we should definitely do a lot more of that.
More shame.
Yes. Oh, not shame. Education is the word that I like to go to.
Okay.
Or opportunity for education. Ben says, Thomas, Ben, you're cooked, Unk. Yeah. I am 30 now, so I guess I am an Unk. I am cooked.
Oh, man. Yeah, Dave had a good one there.
It's harder. I believe those tensions help build relationships. If positivity is the only way you build a relationship, when negativity comes, it hits harder. Parents have definitely said shit we hate, but we love them all the same. Yeah, I think it's shared struggle, right? And then also open communication off of that is more so what I'm saying. I'm not saying be positive all the time. I just think if you really don't like something, but you don't say it, how do they know that?
Right. Yeah, and it's always delivery too. So
Yes.
So as I've started to do this, it's fun because I can deliver things to where I'm not saying anything.
You let them
I'm
say it.
capable of that.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I need to use that same ability, but to say the thing. You know what I'm saying? Without making them upset.
Totally. You're super good at this already, because you could easily tee them up with questions for them to bring themselves there. That's typically what I try to do, but oftentimes we don't have enough time. If I'm presented with the window of time where I can do that, that's the
true.
route I will go to. But oftentimes I know I have 5 minutes, so I have to be an asshole. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think people would benefit from you doing that too, Keith, because you do have a fantastic way of approaching things from all angles. And I don't think that they would leave thinking you're an asshole because you're so good at that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm working on it. There was a really cool opportunity that I had with someone recently, and it was really nice because I was like, no, I need to tell this person like what they're doing, and that it's actually potentially wrong.
Yeah, and I also think because this is kind of building off of what Andreessen said the other day, where like you should not have any introspection. I think that you and I are both very introspective, but I don't think that's an incredibly common trait, especially not with the numbing agent that is now endlessly accessible of the phone, right?
True.
So a lot of these people have not actually even thought through these things that like they may actually be blind to them.
For sure. Yeah, it's a good point. And then the other thing I was gonna say on this is like, I realized that. So I used to, like, for instance, people would like say things to me that I just knew were wrong, or even just like that were not acknowledging that I might have already known something. As an example, is probably the most common thing that would happen.
Okay.
Is like, you're talking to me, like mansplaining something to me or whatever, like explaining something that like, brother,
I know this.
Yeah, you're way out of your league here. And what I would do is just not say anything.
Yeah.
And just let it be. Because I'm just like, well, this person won't get anything that I have to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in some ways, it's like, maybe I could help that person, you know, like to help them understand that you are talking to someone who knows. And because you're not like communicating properly, you're not getting any information from me that would actually help you.
I send them a video. So I don't have to say anything. Because then if they don't watch it, I know I'm wasting my time. If they do watch it, then I got to the end result without being the asshole. So I'll usually
Yeah.
go through my Rolodex of videos that are worth sending for the specific circumstance, and I'll send it over.
Love it. Love it, man. There was a couple more comments over here as well. On the last episode, Ben, you're the GOAT.
Way too generous. You're the GOAT.
Oh yeah, and like the hyping feature, I guess we're seeing that it potentially isn't always there.
Yeah, it seems like they're split testing it, and that's a very common occurrence across all social media platforms. Is they're constantly conducting split tests to see how it's used, seeing how it's impacting the algorithm, and to make a decision if it becomes more of a constant feature. So if you do ever see the hype feature, definitely hype our stuff if you feel so inclined. It does help the content a lot.
Hype it up.
And whenever they give those customer satisfaction things or viewer satisfaction things, they really do play a very strong weight. So we talked about the surveys before, and the liking. Like when you guys come in, why I ask for you guys to like is because it's like so directly correlated to how far it gets pushed. Like when I ask for the like and a few of you like it, we instantly get pushed to like 10, 20 more people.
And for the content that we're doing, because it's so long, guys, like all of these little micro signals makes such a big difference.
Everything, because we are fighting against deep rooted relationships that people have with our people in the same like zone, right?
Yeah.
And so it's such a longer grind. That's why when you look at Keith's channel, it's so big and it will keep getting bigger and bigger way faster than this, because it's a direct, simple yes or no question. Like, do I care about money and the topics in which he's covering? Yes. Right? I'm in. We require so many more yeses before they come into the ecosystem.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And Keith's also a very good creator too. I'm not taking that away from him at all. To get what he's done is amazing.
No, but for sure, it's a different game being played. Matthew, what up, man? We appreciate you. He said, Ben must be more of a cat person at 207:14. Let me play it back real quick because I thought I didn't realize what was happening.
Right. And I'm sure the dog is I'm sure it's real. I'm really happy the dog is healthy. It's amazing. But like, think of the stakes here. The ChatGPT dog.
Yeah. So Ben was responding to this guy that like cured his dog of cancer by using ChatGPT to like fix the sequencing or whatever. And Ben was being a little bit skeptical about it. So
yeah, just simply because the stakes involved of it all. But again, I'm very hopeful that is 100% real, and it's amazing that he did that, and the dog is healthy.
That was a really good comment.
And then
that's hilarious. And
and I would say I'm actually more of a dog person. I do have cats, but that's only because I live in such a small space that it would be mean to have a dog.
That's fair. That's interesting. I definitely wondered that about you because, it says a lot about you to have cats, especially multiple cats.
I wouldn't have normally, like, if you had to talk to me even 6 years ago, I would have said I'm never getting a cat. But then I was just in such a bad way from my surgeries where I was like, I need something here to like make me not want to leave. And so I got a cat because I was like, if I have a cat, I'll take care of it and then whatever. And then when I got the one cat, it was such a demon that I'm like, I need to get another one so they play and tire each other out. And so then that's how I got the two cats. And I love them.
So they are both your cats.
They are both my cats.
Wow, guys. These are both Ben's cats. They're not his girlfriend's cats.
But if I do get to a point where I can have a bigger space, I would totally get a dog, but only if I can give it a really good life.
That's very thoughtful. Very empathetic of you.
Well, I grew up with animals, so yeah. Did you grow up with any animals?
Nope.
Okay,
That's
so
why
would
I'm
you?
such a jerk.
That's crazy. You're not a jerk at all. Would you ever get a dog?
I'd have to have
a partner that wants it.
I'd have to have a kid, or something. Like I just because otherwise I basically have a kid. You know what I mean?
Dude, a dog is a different beast.
Yeah,
like a dog, it's the commitment of a baby to a degree, especially when they're young. Whereas the cats, it's awesome, man. Like I could leave for a day, no problem.
The one thing that I think would be the reason also if I have a kid, I would be more likely to get a dog or something is because one of the things that I never experienced in my life because I didn't have dogs or anything like that was like, this is a crazy thing to say, but I want to hear what you think. Like I never experienced death close to me.
Oh, that's totally fair.
And I feel like that'd be something good for a kid to have to, or to be able to go through at a younger age. I
actually think you're right because I remember losing my first dog, Jody, and it was such a hard experience because I hadn't gone through that either. But at a very young age, I was forced to grasp the concept that like time is fleeting and life is fleeting. And so every time I would leave the house, when she got to a point where my mom held on to her for too long, like she could barely move and she was barely there. But every time I leave the house, I'd give her 10 kisses and say, bye, I love you. Because I grasped the concept. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That was maybe like 10 or 12. So I think that's actually very great thinking, because that would have had a positive impact on my ability to deal with grief. And I didn't even really realize that.
So, yeah, man, that's the one thing that comes to my mind.
I think you'd love a dog though, man.
So somebody said I seem like a bird guy. What does that even mean?
You know, birds, if you love birds, that's awesome. But birds are like a very like wild pet, man, because they're just it's so unique. And if you let them fly around, like they poo everywhere and stuff.
Oof. Yeah, that would also be a tough one. I have this video on my phone of a bird that I was around in Bali, and this was my first time being like, I guess it wasn't in the wild, it was like at a resort, but there was a parrot of some sort.
Parrots are cool.
And he was talking to us. He was saying, "Good morning."
Wow. That's the first that you've seen something like that?
Yeah. And the thing was too, is it just caught me off guard. Cause like, I mean, I'm not at a zoo, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just living my life and I'm like hearing someone say good morning, like legit. And I'm like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like I'm at the pool hearing this.
It's totally, it's definitely, it's a different thing for sure. And Brandon says, I can see Ben having a parrot. I would never get a pet bird. I would never get a pet bird. They live a long time, man.
That's wild, man.
Like you have to leave that thing in your will.
Keith is a reptile guy for sure.
I had reptiles growing up.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you had something. You had something weird growing up.
Bro, I had a newt. You ever heard of that?
No.
Bro, it's crazy. And then when my newt died, because my dad was sad for me, he got me a turtle. Because I'm like, turtles are cool. I go to the pet store, I pick out all of the gear, and I'm like 7, maybe 8. This is a newt. I named him Nudie. As you can see, I've been a creative mind for a very long time. And so I get the turtle. I'm at the pet store, and there's one that's like upside down, clearly sick, not doing well. So I point to the other one that's very active and playful, and the pet owner or the pet store guy grabs the one that's dying, puts it in the thing, and my dad's like, oh, whatever, they're all the same. And then it died like 2 weeks later. My dad blamed me. He's like, you're not getting another one. So I had a turtle for like literally 2 weeks.
Dang.
Yeah. So RIP to that turtle, but it wasn't my fault, man. That thing was already going.
That's crazy, man. Oh, Thomas, that's a crazy one. He said Ben probably had pet rats.
I never had pet rats, but
is that a thing? No.
Yeah. People love rats, man.
People have rats?
Yeah, totally.
I thought you dissect rats.
Well, that's they're used for that too, but a lot of people really like rats. They're quite smart. And apparently pretty affectionate. A friend of mine in high school, she had 2 rats.
They don't bite you?
I am sure some do, but like anything, when I first got my cat, it bit, like playfully, and then I taught it, don't bite. Because he was found outside, and so who knows how much socialization he got, my cat, and so I had to teach him not to bite me.
Fascinating, man. I didn't know cats would bite, honestly.
For my cat, it's more of like a sensory thing, like it's how he plays. And so he doesn't actually like try to hurt you. He just like likes biting stuff. Like he won't play unless there's something he can bite.
Interesting.
Super weird, bro. Like whenever I get these toys, if I don't factor in the fact that he wants to be stimulated in multiple ways, he won't play with it. Yeah, he's a bit of a diva that way.
So interesting, man.
People dissect frogs. They dissect mice too, I think, right? Or rats, and they definitely use them in studies a ton.
Right.
See, Thomas had rats. See?
Okay.
I've heard they're good pets. My mom, I don't know if she'd let me have one, but they seem cool. I also had pet toads at one point. Pet toads were crazy.
A toad?
Yeah. So I had a pet toad that I found when it was like a penny toad. It was like this little guy, and I caught it at my grandparents' place. And I'm like, Mom, can I keep this as a pet? I think she probably thought I would die or I would kill it. So she's like, yes. And then I fed it and I took super good care of it. It got friggin' huge, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And then eventually my mom's like, we got to get rid of this thing. And we let it go at my grandparents. And like, they definitely friggin' lied to me. They're like, we see him all the time. I'm like, that thing is dead for sure. I was like, you're full of shit, grandma. Like, I know that thing's dead. I've been hand feeding him worms for like 5 years.
Right. Dang, dude.
Rat brains are similar to human brains. I've heard something like that. Isn't that why they get used in studies a lot? Yeah. That's it. Anything else from the chat that you guys want to chop it up before we wrap up? Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Awesome episode. Definitely go show him some love. And I think the core theme of this is just focus on what you can control, right? And try to be around positive things when you can. Keith, owning a pet gives you perspective. The psychology of domesticated animals is fascinating. Yeah, it really is. I also saw on Twitter the other day that apparently gray aliens don't like cats. So apparently my cats are protecting me from aliens too.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that
Who
on
would have
Twitter.
thought?
Yeah. Cats do see weird shit. So like I wouldn't be surprised if they could see like interdimensional beings.
If they could see the grays.
Totally. Man, they every so often my cat will just be staring at something that's not there. I'm like, this shit's weird. Maybe he's scaring them away.
That's nutty. You guys have the illest conversations. Thanks, man. We appreciate you pulling up. Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely contributed to this piece of it. I wasn't expecting so much animal talk. That's awesome.
No, you guys are the why we do this. It's so much more fun. And some conversation with y'all. There was a request again for the Discord. We've had that request a ton. I was just saying to Keith that we had somebody reach out to us, potentially going to help us flesh that out. We want to do all the things, guys, and we talk about it all the time. We just don't want to do anything shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to do something half-assed where you get in there and you get a bad taste in your mouth, like every NFT project ever. So we want to make sure it's something that can have an ecosystem. And Ben, outside of social media, what's an obscure hobby you've got? Man, I learn stuff like all the time. If I'm not working on an active task, I'm trying to accumulate data points to make better decisions. I'm very, very, very lucky where my natural aptitudes and wants / things I find fun are rewarded in the marketplace. Like that's just pure luck, right? Like I was wanting to sell things and build things from like such a young age, where I was just lucky that the stuff that I found fun happened to be you could make money from it.
That's awesome, man.
Do you have any obscure hobbies?
Well, it's just my music stuff. I was just directly like, you don't make money from that.
you will eventually, though.
For sure.
You definitely will.
Yeah.
There's no way you won't.
I was talking to someone.
So
probably on the movie set. What would you see?
They're saying create our own, and that's something that we absolutely could do. So for more context, like I have a bunch of engineers that work with me, and so we absolutely could build something like that. It's just a cost benefit analysis, right? Like it'd be a lot of time and effort for me. And is that the kind of business that I want to run? Definitely not. So we would probably use a third party tool.
The reason too is because I saw this the other day as well. Discord is about to start forcing people to verify their ID.
That's another thing I saw.
Crazy.
So if it gets to that point where it's too crazy, I would consider making something. Just don't expect it to be awesome. is what I would say, right? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time and money and resources if it's just us using it. But there could be a demand for that. So we'll definitely chew on it. But the Rebel said, make sure the onboarding for the NFT is easy because I'm interested and want to share it with my community as well. I will try to make it as simple as we possibly can. I've been speaking with my devs about how we're going to logistically handle that. Right now, we're fletching out like how many can each person get, and like the cost to mint, all that stuff. So still probably, it's just not a massive priority for me right now because the show is more important, but we'll eventually get to those digital collectibles at some point.
Yes, sir. I was going to say how I think it was on the movie set or something. I was talking to somebody about music. Yeah, that's what it was. And I was like, I spent my whole life trying to make money so that I could make music again. Because I learned very quickly that making music wasn't going to make me money.
That'll be a very cool full circle moment when you're making money from your music.
For sure, man. Someone asked, Keith, do you use Ableton, bro? I don't actually. I use FL, the dirty FL Studio. What did you say?
Is that music software?
Yeah, it's a digital audio workstation, or DAW.
Super cool, man. So would you want like a physical space to do this stuff?
Dude, it's crazy because so I talked to this awesome person who reached out to me. They booked a call with me, and she was like,
Excuse me.
telling me how she like created her life and like the people that she was around that were doing those things as well. And she was like, you know, obviously like visualization techniques, but also like writing it down like every day in the morning, whatever. Da, da, da. And I've been trying to figure out what does that life look like? And then one day I was in the shower a couple days ago, and I had the vision. I was like, I want to wake up on my boat.
You want a boat
with a studio in it?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, that could be a whole business too, honestly.
Yeah.
I kind of shouldn't have been putting this out there like that, because I haven't seen anyone do anything like that. But I think that'd be a sick business, because you could charge crazy premiums per hour of a studio like that if it's really just you're renting a boat.
Yeah, it's a flex for sure. And people love novelty. So I think that could absolutely be something. So then you need like a yacht then, no?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Can I come
But
on your
it's
yacht?
finance. It's finance with the business.
Say no more. I could see it. That'd be super, super cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure, brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's super dope. And I think also another thing that I want to stress with this show is that whenever you have a dream or something that you want, like the people around you typically will say like why it can't work, because that's happened to them a bunch of times too, right? When they've had something, they say like, oh, you can't do this. But I love that you want to have a yacht studio like that. That's so badass, man. And I also think that with the tools that we have access to between the internet and AI, what's possible is becoming more and more up to you.
100%, man.
Like so many things that I'm able to do now, it's like I feel so lucky and blessed. The world has become so suited towards my natural skill set of like ideas, because I'm able to iterate on them so fast now with AI, right? And also take on different challenges to grow the business into something that I know I couldn't have done myself without these tools. So it's definitely super cool. Take advantage, guys.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, but Andy George said I got a degree for record engineering, and after interning found it was not the life I wanted. You never know how it's gonna work out. Yeah, man.
Totally. That's also timeless advice too, where if you want, just because you started something doesn't mean you gotta stick with it forever. I think sunk cost is a big thing that's ruling a lot of people's lives. And if you really get to the root of why there's sunk costs, most of it is social cost, right? It's more so they're worried about being associated with the outcome socially, right? Like, oh, he went to school for this and he's not doing that. Like that's seen as bad. Bro's gonna make yacht house. That's dope. When do we get to see your music on stream, man? Why are you gatekeeping?
You know, it's funny because I've actually got some pieces that if people really went down my content rabbit hole, actually, no, it's not out yet. That's actually false. But some of my content that I'm putting out will have my music in it. So that's exciting. But
dude, I'm so excited because whenever I talk to Keith, like it's so obvious that like everyone has like something that they've loved, right? And like music is clearly that thing for you. So one of the things that I'm most excited for is that when businesses for you get to a point where you can actually start dedicating time towards that, like I'm just excited to watch that, because I think that'll be so fucking cool.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
Yeah. My Bond video has my music in it. It's very low, but technically, and it's crazy, dude, because I so intentionally like made sure that video had my music in it. And so now that video has over 1 million views, right? Like technically through a roundabout way, which is a part of kind of how I see my music career continuing to unfold, I've got 1 million plays on a song. You know
That's
what I mean?
so badass. And did you give yourself credit in the description?
No, actually, I haven't done that. No, it's just there. It's just what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what I care. I just want like people to hear my sounds, you know?
Totally. Well, I should still get to hear it. You've never sent me a video, any of your music ever. You wouldn't even tell me the name of your stuff.
I gotta see what's out there, man, because there was one video that was out there that was pretty dope. It was a video that someone made to my song, but I think it's gone now, and it's so frustrating because it was it was like back when I was 16 years old, and it's like, on timestamped on YouTube, but it's not there anymore. So I'm like, dang, that sucks.
Whenever you talk about this stuff, I always think about the quote from your football coach: "Stick to making beats, son."
Yes, man. Yeah, man. Crazy stuff.
Whereas football was like my version of your music. Like I loved that so much. That was like my thing for a very long time.
Word, man. And so you still get to only through watching the sport, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My highlight tape from high school is on the internet. So if people do they could find that. But yeah, it's I love that a lot, and that was such a big pivotal role in my life. And I think pro football, even though I still love it, it's definitely a thing where I love the people around it more, because it does seem like a lot of it is BS, and the gambling stuff just makes it even more like that. But yeah, I think that football taught me so many things about life and people and myself. And so having a passion like that is so important. Obviously that was for music. I think you can find those lessons through anything that you're deeply passionate about. That's like a competitive pursuit in some regard. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. I'm sitting here trying to find your highlight tape.
I think if you type in Ben Levitt football, you'll find me.
Is it on Huddle?
No, it's on YouTube. I edited it during COVID. I had it for years, and then I was like, you know what? We got so much time on our hands. I may as well put this thing together, because I didn't actually do it when I was in high school, because video editing was so much harder at that time. But I
found it.
Yeah, man. No, I was pretty good at football, man. Obviously, I'm in Canada, so like you guys are way better than we are. But I was a small school. I would have been better than a lot of people on it. But like you can't be as good. You got to be way better, and that was never going to happen for me from being from Canada as especially a white dude from Canada. Like I don't got the speed, so they ain't coming for me. I definitely wasn't slow, but I wasn't like super fast.
Mm. Fair. And like you were saying before, I feel like it's just, you could be the best player in certain places, and
it's politics.
You're still not going to get picked up.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit. I will say that they realize there's a lot more talent here, so they're coming here a lot more. But at the time when I was there was just no shot. Like I would have had to do a lot of things that I just didn't do looking back on it. But everything happens for a reason. I'm very grateful that injuries took me away from football, because had it not, I probably would still be trying. You know what I mean? And
that's fair. That's fair.
Because when you love something like that, like you've got to be stripped away. And it feels like the universe kind of did that to me with all my injuries, because I kept going back, man.
That's a crazy way to think about it, but it makes sense, dude.
Yeah, man. But anything else from you, Keith?
Nothing else from me, man.
Cool. Well, should we show them Spotify and ask for some?
Oh yeah, that's a given, folks.
We're getting
close. All this talk about music, how could I forget? We are on Spotify, ladies and gentlemen, and we have, since last time, we got a couple of you guys to come through and give us a review, but we need you to do it again. And if you haven't already, we need you to come through. So the link is in the description to the Spotify. We're Memes and Markets over there. Give it a quick listen. In case you haven't listened to anything, it'll make you listen before you can leave a review. Hit the play button, let it scroll, maybe go back to an episode you haven't heard yet. And then when it lets you, give us a review. We really appreciate it. It actually also helps a ton with visibility on this platform. We don't have any natural discoverability unless you guys are coming to help us do that.
Yeah, it's really hard to grow from zero there. So what gets pushed is typically what's getting rated. So that would help us out so much. And I know it's annoying to do, but if we've ever done stuff for you, it would mean the world to us for you to do that when you have the time. And yeah. And so Mr. Green said, or M. Green said, can y'all talk about the SEC naming some digital assets as commodities? That was if it's fractionalized, right?
No, they just actually gave a full list of specific cryptos that they think are commodities now. I can rattle off because I have a piece on my computer here. So yeah, the SEC, my whole video that I put out today was about that. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. But I might have lost it, but it's like Aptos, Avalanche, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Chainlink, Dogecoin, Ether, Hedera, Litecoin, Polkadot, Shiba, Solana, Stellar, Tezos, and XRP.
Lorenzo, yeah, we see your comments all the time, and we appreciate them tremendously. I always try to reply to all the ones that I can. So thank you. We appreciate your support all the time. You're a very valued member of the community, and we appreciate all the positivity you bring.
Yes, sir. We see you. We see you, man.
So with them doing that, do you think that makes it more likely that we get things over the finish line for the legislation?
I guess it also just means that it's not as important for those projects.
Very true.
But this is what, Charles was saying is like, guys, let's not just grandfather these projects. What I think is fascinating is that there's a nice mix of stuff in there. And like, how did they come to the conclusion of these specific blockchains?
That's what I was about to ask you next.
Like, what?
Thomas says, don't worry, Ben Cardano's on there. Yeah. Cardano's is in a bad way, man. Like if they don't get their stuff sorted pretty quickly, so much amazing work and tech could be squandered. But like they kind of do it to themselves, man. Like the infighting amongst the community, and like I literally reached out to Charles trying to help him for free, and they didn't even reply.
Wow.
Like that's so stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's crazy. I didn't know that.
What are you gonna do, man? I literally I gave them free consulting. I recorded a full-on thing for like their head of media, acted on none of it, didn't even reply. Then after Charles came on, I reached out to him directly. I was like, man, this could have like 10x the views if you change the title to just this. You don't even need to change the thumbnail. Didn't do it, didn't reply.
Wow.
So it's like, and when the show blows up, they'll be like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Because it's also not like the things that you're going to be suggesting aren't, well, it's in a way, it's like, it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's obvious that it could improve what they're doing.
And it's no additional work or even change in their efforts.
Right.
And at least I'll do it for you for free for a few months until you guys see that it works, and then we can talk payment.
Right.
I do this for an agency. Like this is what I do every day for some of the biggest podcasts in the world, and they didn't even reply, man. So then at that point, I've been a very long supporter of this technology and movement for a very long time. And even now I'm like, I don't know, like whatever you end up with is kind of on you, man. As a member of your community, I tried to help for free.
Right.
So at that point, I'm a free agent.
Yeah. Because that stuff, like those decisions that are being made or indecisions that are being made, it rattles through everything.
Totally.
I was thinking about, like I watched, you sent me the Mark Andreessen thing where they're talking about their media strategy. Mm-hmm. And like the thing that came to my head throughout listening to that for whatever reason was like, A16Z, everything that they put out is pristine. Mm. Everything, their website looks amazing, but guess what? They're not advertising to people. You know what I mean? Like they don't need me to see that they have a nice website. No, they have a nice freaking website because it's a part of the entire organization.
It's experience.
The whole thing has to be like that. It has to be like that. Otherwise, the person who does have millions of dollars is not going to look at it that way. Totally. And so anyways.
No, I agree. Yeah. And I, like I said, we had them as a client for like, I think it was a 5 or 6 month span. They get there because they have a shitload of money too, though, Keith. Like there's so many people touching everything. So they're able to maintain that kind of quality standard. But I totally agree with what you're saying. There's not such a high leverage outcome. But then, and that was fascinating too, that episode. But someone said Charles Hoskinson needs to retire, but his arrogance won't let him. He's such a buzzkill and a drag on that company. I don't agree with that at all. I think that I still really like Charles, and I think that his philosophy is one of the few bright spots that are there. But I've seen like a lot of people in life where, like if like the not replying to me thing, it's a lot like people who, I don't know how to say this. Let me think on this more because I don't know how to say this properly and I don't want to offend anyone. But a lot of people, like they stop themselves from getting what they say they want. Right? Like they're saying, they're like, again, I'm a bottom feeder. I'm not important. But like they've come out publicly and been like, okay, messaging is so important. We're going to be focusing on this. If that was my general like KPI, key performance indicator, I'd be seeing every email that came through if there's an opportunity to help me with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. It's also just, it's always interesting because it's always both sides of it. Like someone, for instance, was saying, they sent us an email and we didn't respond, right?
Totally fair.
And it's like, it's always this game of what, like these guys don't know who we are, right? And so they don't know not just like who we are, like no, like but what we do or
I
what
explained
we're
all that
doing.
though.
And some people will get it and some people won't.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so
No, and everyone's just
yeah.
doing their job. And the other incentive structure that's the problem that I've run into while running my agency is almost every person where we go into, they have someone's job who would potentially be compromised by my involvement.
Right.
And so then now that creates an incentive structure problem where they don't want me around. They're not sharing that email. They're like, screw that. This guy may take my job. Or like, even though I would never try to ever do that, but like, that's where their mind goes. The amount of uphill battles I've had to fight with to like do my own job because of people trying to save theirs. It's a real thing. And I can't blame them for that. Of course, I'm some random guy off the street and he's thinking about his family. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Yep. So,
Cool.
That too.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think that I'm hopeful that their messaging gets sorted and people start rallying behind the mission of Cardano and other, really just crypto in general. It's pretty dead and people are sad right now.
Facts.
So hopefully we get some good news here soon. We've been getting our asses kicked for a very long time.
No doubt.
Dope. Well, that's all for me. Anything else, Keith?
That's it, man.
Damn, we almost 4 hours. So apologies for this being so long, guys. The first half went longer than we normally do. And Andy was generous with his time. So we were definitely going to take him up on that. But we appreciate you guys watching tremendously. We will definitely see all of you guys on Tuesday. I don't know if we have a guest scheduled. And as for the email things, like when you guys have something for us, like don't get discouraged if we don't reply right away. And also what I will say too is that like, and I learned this because I was the person trying to get someone's attention. You got to make it a no-brainer for people, right? Like you can't say, here's how I'm going to provide value to you. You show, right? Because enough people have reached out to me over the years, especially when I was creating a lot more frequently. And anybody who like showed me, I would give them an opportunity right away. But if you're saying like, if you're trying to like create a job for yourself, it's going to create work for me. The answer is going to be no, or I'm just going to ignore it. There's too many other things going on.
Exactly. It's really just a bandwidth thing, like mental capacity alone. It's like, having direct forward movement steps as well is usually super helpful. Like this is the next thing, not like me having to come together and figure out what do I even say to this? You know what 100%. I mean?
Doing the thinking for me is very, very important. And then also illustrating the fact that you can do this. Because anybody that we bring on, we're already working on so many other things that like anytime where I'm training people, it's just like, it just takes so much time and bandwidth from me and same with Keith. Right. So that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Definitely keep shooting a shot, keep cold emailing with anyone else.
So the thing that I was bringing up earlier, where I had a chance to like basically put someone, like correct someone, was about this exact thing where it was like, oh, I emailed you this and you didn't respond. And that showed your character.
That's crazy shit.
And I was like, wait a minute, like you've lost your mind, bro.
That happens all the time.
You need to like this is not what that is. And me not responding to you immediately to your request does not have anything to do with my character, sir.
No. Don't get angry, get better. That's really what it is. Because if it was so glaringly obvious that I should reply to you, you're going to get more yeses than nos when you get to that point. Of course, there'll be people that you fall through the cracks and all of that stuff. But whenever I got rejected or ignored, I'm just like, okay, I didn't do a good enough job here. Where's the data point that I can change the approach next time? And that's why I've gotten really good at finding my way to people, was from hundreds of messages going ignored.
Love it, man.
That's it, man.
So shoot a shot. Like,
keep shooting them.
Keep going.
Totally. But also, again, come to it with how you're going to help them when you shoot that shot. But that's all for me. Anything else, Keith, or should we wrap up?
That's it, folks.
Cool. Appreciate all y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see all of you guys on Tuesday.
Peace, love, and prosperity, y'all.
Cheers, guys.
Best day of your life.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. And where's it playing?
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.